a parliamentary situation. They were simulating parliament. What impressed me with these secondary school learners was they understood that white monopoly capital media is lying to the nation. They even knew about the fact that the Gupta's property has been returned, that President Zuma is being vilified. They were very clear about this country is being controlled and is captured by white thought. Children know this, parents seem not to know this. Because those parents who vote and support political parties that support our enemy. And then we visited a squatter camp called Linda Mkonto. They've occupied land, they took land, and we went there to pay our respect, because for us, those who take land are our heroes. And we discussed with them some things, and we said more land must be taken, and we spoke about important matters there. For Black First, Land First, anyone who takes land is a revolutionary. Take land from white people to give to black people. And then we went to a very interesting debate in Kwakwa, going further into the Free State. From Harrismith, we went to Kwakwa, where we had a debate with the Youth League. We spoke about radical economic transformation and black nationalism. In good time, we'll come back to black nationalism in the ANC and how it was basically removed and destroyed by white people, Joe Slovo in particular. And of course, Ruth First. All of these white so-called communists entered the ANC to make sure they destroy it. That is why the ANC today is unable to take land. That is why even today you have Derek Hanekom, you have Jeremy Cronin, the biggest student of Slovo, Jeremy Cronin, standing against land expropriation without compensation. We want to show, and we'll discuss, and we discuss this black nationalism in the ANC, how it was destroyed. People don't know that in 1912, when the ANC was formed, African Native Congress, it was a blacks-only organization. In fact, it was blacks only until 1985. But Slovo and his white friends were making sure that the ANC is captured by white thought. In the ANC, white people think, black people toy. We discussed a little bit that when we come back to this matter. It was a very robust discussion. Then we moved to Newcastle. Again, we went to speak to now high school children there in the school called the Dangifunde. We want to thank the principal. We spoke to over 1,000 learners at assembly. And then we focus on June 16 and the revolutionary responsibilities of young people. We also went to a community radio station in Newcastle where we spoke about what BLF stands for. I want to thank in particular Babu Jele, who hosted us for 2 nights. We're traveling to Nkandla, we passed by a Newcastle and we slept there. Nkandla is very, very far. We underestimated how far Nkandla is. And it's very beautiful. You drive down those roads, you'll actually think that you're driving towards Camps Bay in Cape Town. It explains why white people tried so hard to take that part of the country. And it gives us great pride to say our people resisted quite efficiently. Now, I also want to thank our comrades, in particular Comrade Sabelo. Comrade Sabelo, I know that you and your comrades in Amajuba region watch this program as a collective. A shout out to you, Izzolethu, Amandla, One Settler, One Bullet. Asiqhubekeni kanjalo comrades. Bakhona asiyaziyo siyababingelela futhi abafowethu ababukela lolu hlelo behlangene ndawonye. Into esithakazela kakhulu loyo. Sicela ukuthi abantu bakithi sikhathi sonke ngesonto 1 o'clock asibe nesonto lethu lokukhuluma nge-black consciousness. Ralamukela lothi mo programming ya rona ya Mngxitama on Sunday live. Ke kopa gore lotlhe ba gaetso sonta ga mongwe le mongwe le kopaneng le tlhakantse madi ka itse gore na madi ya data go le gone go bona programa e thusa thata fa re tlhakanya madi rotlhe re reka data be re dutse rotlhe re be re lebella, because it means that the costs of watching the program are reduced. Black First, Land First members from the branch to the region to the province, even where national leadership is, which is not in this province, it is a call, put together resources, get data every Sunday this time so that we can catch up on the events of the week and what is happening in the world and share also analysis. We also want to thank Comrade Nosipho Hlatshwayo, who made sure that you don't starve when you were at Newcastle. We managed to arrive in Nkandla to be part of the community which welcome President Zuma back to his home. Ubaba uZuma uyamkeleka abuyele ekhaya bese lapho thina si Black First Land First soba nabo eNkandla nayo ubaba wethu uZuma ngoba thina si Black First Land First sithi umongameli uPresident Zuma asibaza abanye. Yabona lokhu kuthiwa Ramaphosa yena ubekwe abamhlophe ubekwe labantu abayi400 eParliament akabekwanga yithina thina umongameli wethu uPresident Zuma besobona umongameli wethu ke. What impressed me a lot when listening to President Zuma was actually how systematic his thought is. President Zuma is a fine, organic intellectual. It's shocking that those of us who claim to be intellectuals not listening to this man. For a very long time, we just dismiss him. I listened to how he moved very systematically in explaining his own intellectual development. How his lived experience at the level of Nkandla, his hometown, helped him to know, understand the world, interpret the world, and also just talking about how young people are being trained to be brave and to be honest. Usitshengisile lapho upresident ukuthi yena eNkandla bakhuliswa kanjani ingane ngesesikhathi ukuthi singasaba abamhlophe singabe amavaka azikwazi ukuthi zilwe inkululeko. Sijabule kakhulu lokho. So, but also for BLF, I think we must just say, President Zuma, well, thank you a lot again for recognizing our movement as the most revolutionary and the most prepared to fight, and recognizing our leadership. We also recognize you as our intellectual leader. Now, I want to turn to a matter which all the newspapers are not dealing with. The big news that didn't make the news. Okay, we'll start. I'll just show you that is the Sunday Times, Johan Rupert's paper. It is involved in some discussion on how Musi, I think Musi is toast. They are saying Musi Maimane, our brother, is going because they are putting him against his own master, Helen Zille. And so, Brother Musi, we told you they're coming for you. We'll stand with you, but your time in the DA is up. The important thing is the big story is not here. The big story is not here. The big story of the week is not in the front page. Now let's turn to. We will also deal with Mail and Guardian. Mail and Guardian is the big newspaper of the white people. Mail and Guardian doesn't have the big story. And not only that, Mail and Guardian does not even have any report on this big story I'm going to tell you about. I want you to think, what was the big story that did not make the news? It is not here. And then let's go to the Independent, the Sunday Independent. The Sunday Independent is involved in another story. I don't know what they're doing in the Sunday Independent, to tell the truth. So in Sunday Independent, they have a story about Brother Ngema and Brother, of course, Desmond Tutu. I don't know. They went to ask for forgiveness, or I don't know. Anyway, it's a story of Gama, and again they're trying to bring some Gupta story there. And then, interestingly enough, Koos Becker's story, the most racist newspaper, Koos Becker's newspaper, City Press is not a black people's paper, it's a paper organized by apartheid, Naspers. Their boss is Koos Becker. Well, it is a grudging. Why the Guptas won? It's a grudging acceptance of the big story. The Gupta victory. That is the big story. A grudging admission why the Guptas won. And when you go to look here, they say some things like the NPA people were tired. Well, the story that did not make the news, the big story that made the news, the fact that the Gupta family, these Indian upstarts, won a big court decision against white monopoly capital, against the NPA. Basically, we know that the media, and that's why I was looking at Mail and Guardian. You know, Mail and Guardian is the one newspaper that ran with the they call them the Gupta leaks, which apparently is the evidence, solid evidence of the Gupta corruption. Now, they don't write even one sentence about this court story, because their whole story, evidence falls flat in front of the judge. We black first, land first don't trust the judiciary in this country. But even a racist judge could not accept their version. Pravin Gordhan go around saying there's 100 billion rand stolen, and by associating it with the Guptas. Well, Cyril Ramaphosa says corruption is so big, we did not realize how big it was. We know Julius Malema was talking about state capture, and all of these were supposedly what the Guptas are doing. A court of law says there is no evidence to show that the Guptas are corrupt. See, what happened is, after the coup against President Zuma, white monopoly capital have reduced the NPA into a private tool to deal with competition. Its competition is the Guptas. So they're using the NPA to deal with their competition. So how they deal with it, for instance, there's a constant applications for preservation orders. You know, a preservation order is simply these guys, they go to court. They don't go to court, they go to a judge and say to a judge, we think so and so as properties are being acquired as a result of corruption. At this time, you don't have the opportunity to explain your story. So they come, they bring the media like they do. They go to the Gupta home. They bring the media, they take your properties, they write big stories. Your properties are gone because you are corrupt. But when you have the chance to go to court now to explain your story, court can see that, in fact, these preservation orders are being given on the basis of false information. They are lying to the court because they want the headlines, because they want me and you to look at the Guptas and forget. Let me tell you, this time around, when they want to take the Gupta properties, they wanted us to remove focus from the IPPs. Because this is the time when the IPPs were being signed. They want us not to look at the 1.4 trillion rand corruption to again go back to the Guptas. Now, we see that the court says that's not right. They also, remember, raided the offices of Supra Maumapilu and also Ismachashule. Barabatuba, Ismachashule, Supra, by involved corruption. By go office in Tabona, Barabonsa, Modi television, and the Modi Kurante. Fela go Hotlatseke, Hotlakile Hora, Ahona Bonnet, Bahore, the Guptasi, the any corruption. Ban Bagiti, Smeles Kumang Makuptas, Noba Songe. Abamhlophe basithakathile bangene emakhanda wethu bayenza ukuthi cabanga ukuthi amaGupta noZuma ibona bakhohlakele. Amaphephandaba nganitshela iqiniso lokuthi inkantolo ithe impahla zamaGuptas azibuyisele kuwona amaGuptas ngoba akunabufakazi bokuthi amaGuptas akhona ayingenele indaba yokutshontsha imali kuhulumeni noba indaba yenkohlakalo. Amaphephandaba ayasilahlekisa isikhathi sonke besebenzisa abantu bafowethu abanjengoba Julius Malema ukuthi bathi kune state capture, le state capture lesi esambelana namaGuptas. Inkantolo yomthetho, ijudge elimhlophe. Angithi ngoba thina ukuthi wasithimele silalela ukukhulunywa abamhlophe. Ijudge elimhlophe siyazi ukuthi bana abafuna amaGuptas kodwa mabheka ubufakazi. Kuyocaca ukuthi akunabufakazi bukhona ukuthi amaGuptas impahla yabo ithathwe ngendlela ethathwe ngayo kuhlekiswa ngabo kuthiwa bakhohlakele ngoba vele they doing this so that they can say President Zuma is also corrupt. It shows you, even in the case of President Zuma, there's no merit. It is all political attack. Now, and of course, by the way, this is the third time. Well, the third time the Guptas win a case. Atul, brother Atul, I hope you're watching. I understand you got your 10 million rand back. We're very broke. BLF will be very happy to get some of it if it's possible. The court said it's your money. So we as BLF are very happy to get help so that we can fight the real enemy, which is white monopoly capital. The Guptas did not kill our people in Marikana. The Guptas did not steal our land. The Guptas are only competing with white monopoly capital, and we're beating them at their game. And so now they're using the state to basically get them out of the game. So we must always remember, the Guptas scene is so Gupta ukuthi bengefuna ngene la eSouth Africa bangene kumnotho bazama ukuthi bayenze imali abamhlophe bavumelana. Kusho ukuthi nathi sonke abafuna ukwenza imali eSouth Africa kumele sazi ukuthi lokho kwenzekile kumaGuptas bavala amabhangi bese bagijimisa ngama NPA kanjalo kuzoyenzeka nakithi. Yilokho kumele sivikelane, kuloko kumele sibe munye sihlangane. Now, I want to talk about something which also does not make the news. The BLF called for the Judicial Commission of Inquiry. We said at the time, we marched even to President Zuma when he was still president. We said, deal with all corruption from the Guptas to the Ruperts. If you say there's corruption done by the Guptas, take the evidence, give it to a commission. We say there's corruption done by white monopoly capital. We say there's corruption done by Pravin Gordon, by Trevor Manuel, by Johan Rupert, by Marcus Joste, by that evil white woman who runs the Insignia. What is her name? Magda Vavinsky. She is not only corrupt. We have opened a case of treason against her. We have a truck full of evidence, which we are going to give to Judge Zondo. What we see, though, is that this commission, it says they started doing its work. Judge Zondo has not told us what is the procedure. What work? Who determined what must be prioritized? So we are clear that they are already trying to narrow the work they are doing so that they can go back and say, it's the Gupta and Zuma, and it's not all those who are implicated in corruption. Judge Zondo, don't do that. Don't allow white people to narrow the terms of reference of the commission. We are also aware that some people want, in fact, to stop this commission completely because they can see that the terms of reference allow us to also bring evidence of corruption of white monopoly capital. Now, sithe inkomishana ekumele iphenye indaba yokukhobanisa masibheka manje siyabona ukuthi ayisebenzi lo msebenzi yasekelwa wona ukuthi wenze manje sebafuna ukuthi baphinde bagijimise uPresident Zuma namaguptas kanti inkohlakalo enkulu yenza ngabamhlophe abafuna ukubheka lapho thina si Black First Land First sizobhalela uJudge Zondo simcela ukuthi sifune umhlangano osheshayo naye ngoba mele silungise indaba ukuthi thina sinobufakazi obuningi kakhulu kwenkohlakalo bamhlophe sifuna ukufaka lapho bakuphenye nalokho. So we are going to write to the judge and we want to get clarity on the procedure and process of how evidence can be put before the Commission of Inquiry. But we know part of the preservation orders and all that goes with that, chasing the Guptas and President Zuma, is to try to make sure that they sabotage the Commission itself, so that the Commission does not look into what they are doing. Now, let us do a little bit of political gossip. Why Malema has turned against Ramaphosa again? You know, when Julius was very angry, he said he's an actor, he's a trained anger and trained sorrow about the Marikana massacre. He was crying at the time, he was very angry. He's a well-trained performer, he's an actor. So the actor, Comrade Malema, was very angry, calling ebiza uRamaphosa umbulali. Kodwa ke ngoba baphethe uRamaphosa phela normally maphethwe umlungu oyedwa. Abalungu abawedwa uRenwick wangaphesheya Robin Renwick wangaphesheya eLondon nalo uJohan Rupert oseStellenbosch bagcine besibehlangana. Siyakhumbula ke esifihlweni sika mama uWinnie Madikizela Mandela uMalema wathi mayikhuluma nabalandeli bakhe bekhona lapha eStadium wathi hloniphani umongameli ekhuluma ngoRamaphosa. That's what Malema said, respect the president, because Renwick wants them to work together for reasons I'll clarify just now. And then we know that he spoke about signals and all that goes with that Malema, but he did not go against the murderer of Marikana, Cyril Ramaphosa. They are not buddies. Well, suddenly there's a story that now, no, Ramaphosa is not a leader, he's a dealer. Ramaphosa is bad. This is what he's been saying after a few weeks, right? What has happened is simply this. There was a deal, and the deal was Julius will work with Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa must do a number of things, including setting up Julius's people like Pinky Kekane and Castle Matali, and also some tender businesses. Well, Ramaphosa did not bring his part of the deal to the table, or did not realize it. Julius is very angry and disappointed. That is why he's once again insulting Ramaphosa. You must remember at the time, uJulius wabhalela ANC incwadi, ikhona incwadi yabhalwa nge-ANC icela ukuthi behlale phansi bebe nomhlangano ngoba into besezihlangana bezokuyela ekhaya ngoba usho kanjalo uRenwick. Renwick wants Julius to be in the ANC so that Ramaphosa and Julius can fight against those who want radical economic transformation, because Ramaphosa alone is too weak. That's why Renwick is. So there was a deal, but the deal has fallen flat. That is why Julius is back at insulting Ramaphosa. Well, he's just insulting him to make sure that Ramaphosa somehow feels enough injured and comes to the table and do the things that he wants, starting with the tenders and taking care of. In any event, Robin Renwick is going to come back to the country. and will tell, or you'll just call them. He'll say, Julius, stop your nonsense. You know you must work with Ramaphosa and there'll be some peace. So don't be misled, but understand what is happening. How can you say respect the president, your president, and then a few weeks later you say this man is a dealer, he's not a leader? What's going on there? We are saying to you the deal has fallen flat. Abakhobanisi bebehlangane ndawonye befuna ukusilahlekisa manje abasazwani ilokho beqala futhi bayathukana. I want to all my viewers to turn to something which is actually shocking, and I didn't know myself how to deal with it. It's a different matter. Shouldn't Dr. Motsoaledi be fired? Dr. Motsoaledi, or Minister of Health. You know, initially when I saw the hospitals being shut down, reports coming out from those hospitals that workers are not only disrupting the everyday work-ins, they are even disrupting people at theater. People who are going under operations. These workers have been stopping this, disrupting that. My first reaction was to be very angry against the workers. But then I started to try to investigate, and I spoke to a few people, including doctors. The truth of the matter is that the health system in this country is collapsing, if it's not collapsed completely. There's no leadership, there's no direction, there's no support. Nurses are overworked, underpaid, and abused. Same with doctors in the public service. Siyabuza thina ukuthi uma kuthiwa abangabenza umsebenzi bakhishwe esihlalweni, abakhohlakela bakhishwe esihlaleni, kuza kanjani ukuthi uAaron Motsoaledi oyena ophethe ezempilo usahlezi kodwa sibona izibhedlela zakithi zingalendlela ziyiyo? uMotsoaledi kumele ahambe manje, abantu bashonile esidimeni, uhlezi akunamuntu othi ahambe. La eGoli siyabona ukuthi ibhedlela ziyavalwa ngabasebenzi abayithola imali yabo, imali ekumele bayithole. Siyazi ukuthi abasebenzi abakwazi nokuthi bangababe nemizi, ingane zabo azikwazi ukuya esikoleni ngoba imali abayithola incane. These workers are complaining about money due to them. These workers are underpaid, under strain, under stress. So the whole system is collapsed. The value system of life itself is now under threat because our people have not been taken care of by this minister who's protected by the media. Why is the media not talking about how incompetent and dangerous this man has become to the health of our nation? It is because Aaron Motsoaledi is being protected because he was one of those who was leading the charge against President Zuma. He was one of those who wanted President Zuma to go. Now our papers and our media is protecting him as a payback time for his work he did against President Zuma. We as BLFs think that the time for Motsoaledi to go is now. I mean, Supra Maumapilu was kicked out because they said there was a problem in the health department. We talk about the national disaster and a crisis and the minister responsible. No one says he must go. No one says Makura must go here in this province where we know that the health system has collapsed also. We must be consistent. If Supra had to leave because of claims of corruption, claims of incompetence in the Northwest, it must happen here, it must happen everywhere, but it must start with the head. Dr. Motsoaledi is I think we must describe him as a smooth-talking, conniving liar who doesn't care for the well-being of our people. Now I want to leave South Africa a little bit and I go across Limpopo in Zimbabwe. We know that there's a coup in Zimbabwe. We know that President Mugabe was removed by people who first got approval from both Ramaphosa and of course got approval from London, and then they tried to isolate the former President Mugabe. They don't stop there. Because Mugabe is respected by our people here and also in Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa, the coup leader, who is now supposedly the president. It is shocking. South Africa and Zimbabwe are run by people who no one actually elected, except white monopoly capital and imperialism. Now they are attacking President Mugabe. They keep the president out of power. Now they say he must come account to their parliament. And they say if he's not coming again, on the 11th of June, they're going to take further steps. They're going to drag him out of his home. They're going to humiliate him. We will not accept that. We want to send a message to Mnangagwa Ngwena, La Costa, Hands off President Mugabe. He's your leader, he's your father, he's your revolutionary, he's the one who liberated you. You want British pounds? Go get them, but leave President Mugabe alone. We also want to send the same message to so-called members of parliament. Leave President Mugabe alone. He is your father, he's your liberator. And he's our liberator, and he's our father. It is shocking what you're trying to do then. Humiliating President Mugabe. Bring him to your stupid parliament. Hands off President Mugabe. Respect your elders. Respect your leaders and your liberators. And then maybe you might be blessed. Otherwise, we are not even interested in your political program. It is a political program of taking Zimbabwe back to the Commonwealth, back to slavery. So we are very, very concerned about what's happening in Zimbabwe. We know that the Zimbabwean government under Mnangagwa has already unleashed people to the farms that are owned by the First Lady, the former First Lady. To say people must go and occupy and do all this nonsense there. We're saying to the Zimbabwean people, protect your leaders. President Mugabe is no longer involved in a political process, leave him alone. You know, now let's come back to South Africa a little bit. Cyril Ramaphosa, there's 100 days. Cyril Ramaphosa has done absolutely great. He's an excellent president for white monopoly capital. He's horrible for black people. I mean, everything has gone up, except our salaries. VAT is up. Petrol is up. And then, just this big corruption of 1.4 trillion rand of the IPPs. Then we can see now taxis, people are shooting each other on the streets. Cash in transit heists. You see, those cash in transit heists, in my view, is that everybody in South Africa is everybody for themselves. If Ramaphosa can allow white people to loot at will, why shouldn't they? I mean, take one white guy, Marcus Jooste of Steinhoff. He's been allowed to go with 18 billion rand of the state money. So, Ramaphosa, Bekitele, all of them are focusing on the Guptas, are focusing on making sure that white capital is stealing, and at the base, there's complete chaos. It's anomy. The sociological term, anomy, is a situation where there is no order. And so people go to the banks, they just take money, they shoot these trucks, because they can see Ramaphosa is the chief giant, or chief thug, if you like, who makes sure that the resources of the nation are being looted by white monopoly capital. So, 100 days of Ramaphosa, we have no land, we have no jobs, white monopoly capital is killing it, his friends are killing it. So it has been a very great 100 days for white people and white monopoly capital. It has been a very, very bad 100 days. Imagine, this man is going to be president, probably again, if you allow the ANC to take over, for the next 5 years, it's going to be holiday for white people. For black people, it's going to be hell. Remember, this is the guy who went to Marikana and said workers must be killed instead of being paid a salary. We were in, as we said, KwaZulu-Natal, and we had many discussions in KwaZulu-Natal. One of these discussions were always around the Ingonyama Trust. Today, we want to deal with why is Ramaphosa, Julius Malema, Motlanthe are taking the Ingonyama Trust. Why do they want to destroy the Ingonyama Trust? Why do they want to end the authority of the king over the Ingonyama Trust? There are three theories I want you to think about. We'll come back to this issue because it's going nowhere. The ANC, you know, all of you had the land summit, so-called. In the land summit, they call all people who are against white land expropriation without compensation. All of them. Ngcuka Toby, Ruth Hall, Ben Cousin, Motlanthe, and then they all spoke about how the constitution is great, it must not be changed. It's a lie. And I've challenged Advocate Ngcuka Toby, Tembeka Ngcuka Toby. I'm challenging him now. Because obviously, Usilo Malema, akazilutho ngendaba zomhlaba. Akusizi nokuthi simane sithi sifuna ukukhuluma naye aze la soxoxa ngoba akazilutho loyo. Siyazi ukuthi umuntu bathi manje wena wazokunye mayelana nendaba yomhlaba uadvocate Thembeka Ngcuka Toby. Ngiyambiza ngithi asibe nenkumisano in public debate. He is misleading our people, and I think he's lying deliberately. Ngcuka Toby, Thembeka, he sits as a judge. People don't know this. Judge eLand Claims Court. La khona already indawo idaba lokuthi mele sikhokhe imali sibanikeze bamhlophe uma umhlaba wethu usuthatha back oba utshontshile wahlala yena ecane elinjalo kulolo cala uThembeka Ngcukaitobi wathi abamhlophe abakhokhe imali bathola imali bakhokhe imali. The matter was the Msiza matter, and he ended up saying they must be paid 3.5 million rand for land that they stole from our people, and the land that they stole, knowing very well that that land had its claimants in 1999. It's not historical. Thembeka failed flat. Now he turns around and says the constitution makes it possible to expropriate land when he himself could not even make sure that he wrote a book, the land is ours. Huh? But he give white people money. By the way, even that, because the market valuation of that land was 3.8 million rand. That was the market valuation. Thembeka said he is going to use the constitution to show us that, hey, you don't have to pay compensation. All he could do was to remove 300,000 from it. He ended up making them pay 3.5 million. Let me tell you something. Do you know that that matter was taken to the High Court, and the High Court has overturned Thembeka's decision? It says the white people must get their 3.8 million rand, and Thembeka doesn't know what he's talking about. The High Court said that. And they're not telling you it happened in September. Why didn't you tell the ANC Land Summit that I have tried to do this, and our courts are interpreting the constitution to say every time we take land, we must pay white people? That is the simple truth. Thembeka is lying to us. He's deceiving us, because together with Julius Malema and the EFF don't want land to be taken from white people and given to us. They are playing political games. So let me just say, in that land summit, talking about the Ingonyama Trust, in the land summit of the ANC, all these people said the Ingonyama Trust must be destroyed. Bonke bati Ingonyama Trust mele ichithwe, Ingonyama, umhlaba wesilo mele uthathu uphucwe esilweni unikeza sazi unikeza obani. Manje abantu abaningi bazibuza ukuthi ingani basho kanjalo. Why is this being said? We are saying that I'm going to share with you 3 theories, and then in the next coming weeks we'll go deeper into which is the most plausible. The first theory is that London and Stellenbosch wants a weak ANC. Renwick, in his book, has revealed the strategy of coalition governments in 2019. Therefore, antagonizing the king will lead to a big number of voters not voting in KwaZulu-Natal. You see, they are antagonizing the king to make sure that the ANC is not being voted into power, because the plan, that is theory number 1. The plan is that the ANC must be weakened so low that Ramaphosa will set up a government of national unity. That is what Renwick says in his book. So this attack on the Ingonyama Trust is to weaken the ANC so that they can have the DA, ANC, EFF government, which is government of white monopoly capital. Now, remember, Cyril just went to Desmond Tutu. Desmond Tutu is the man of the TRC and Government of National Unity. They're already working for Government of National Unity. They will say Zuma's corruption was so big, like apartheid. Now we want a Government of National Unity post the Zuma administration. But all that is organized by London. That is theory number 1. That theory says they want to weaken the ANC so that they can justify a joint government of ANC, DA, EFF to protect white monopoly capital. Hold on to that thought as days and months move. The second theory, inkinga la is just jealousy. Jealousy. Labantu banomona babona la isilo ngoba babona ukuthi isilo siyahlonipheka, siyasithanda, nabantu bonke abanengi mabona isilo bazi ukuthi inkosi yesizwe. Abakujabulela lokho ngoba bafuna yibe yibona kuphela abaphezulu abangathi bayahlonipheka. So basically here the theory is that it's basic jealousy. Julius Malema, Ramaphosa, Motlanthe can't believe the authority and the respect the king has, and so they want to destroy it. They want uJulius akakhohlwa ukuthi yena ibe inkosi. That is the second theory, that actually here we're not dealing with many complicated things. These guys, they're just jealous. You know, I used to think jealousy is not an important category of analysis until now. Now I think it is. Jealousy is a thing to check. These guys, Julius can't believe that there is another person out himself who can fill stadiums, being shown unwavering loyalty by the people. So you want to destroy that. That is the second theory. Think about it. Then the third theory is that, Actually, the reason why they want to destroy the Ingonyama Trust is because they have discovered minerals in the Ingonyama Trust. There's gold, there's other stuff that are important. So Julius Malema, Ramaphosa, Motlanthe want these minerals to be given to white monopoly capital. That is why they want to destroy the Ingonyama Trust. So in summary, those three theories. 1, weaken the ANC, bring a government of national unity. 2, they are jealous, they want the king to be out. 3, the minerals. Which one is more plausible? We'll talk about this as the weeks and days and months come and we get more evidence. Okuyokususa kakhulu indaba ukuthi abamabhunu abizwe i-AfriForum aseqale ukuqeqesha amasotsha wawo ukuhlasela abantu abamnyama. Yangizwa ngithini bantu bakithi amabhunu we-AfriForum aqale amasotsha ukuhlasela abantu bamnyama bathi bayivikele ekutheni thina sithi izwe alibuye ngakithi. AfriForum has started a paramilitary training. It's training a lethal army. They're training young white kids in the use of weapons. Their whole agenda, they claim, is to defend themselves. However, we know that their agenda is to try to cause mayhem in the event that we take land. What is our response to this? We're not going to complain. We're not going to cry. We have a natural right to defend ourselves. We must prepare ourselves physically and mentally to defend ourselves, not only that, to advance the struggle for land. We gotta get organized. We gotta get prepared. We gotta remember who is the enemy. AfriForum is just doing what is natural. They're getting ready for war. They're getting ready to prepare themselves to stop us from taking the land. Thina ke sithi abamhlophe baqale phansi bayiqeqesha ukuthi bathi bayivikela kodwa siyazi kuba funa ukusihlasela ukuze izwe lethu lihlale lisezandleni zabo. Thina si Black First Land First sithi wonke umuntu omnyama isikhathi sifikile sokuthi sibe namabutho wethu okuyivikela amabutho wethu okuthi futhi solanda umhlaba siuthathe ngendlela yathathwa kuthina. Bagayithu ke nagana gore lo utlwile gore basweu ba AfriForum basweu ba tlhaolele basweu ba ga green ba kopa ibile ba sumula janong gore ba itukisetsa masole a bone a leng gore ke ba ruta go berekisa dithuntsha gore ba re thunye fa re tla go tsa lefatshe la rona. Rona re Black First Land First rare rona, we are not cowards. Ga re magatlapa tsantse re ipankanyeng ntwa e tla ntwa e golo. Fa go na le o mongwe a re lefatshe le tle go bua ka ntlha ya gore ka ntlha ga go gantwa tsantse le itse gore motho wa le lahla ba gaetso ga se nnete. We're going to have to fight for this land. That's how they took our land. Bakithi izwe ngeke libuye ngokukhuluma kuphela. Izwe ngeke libuye ngokuvota kuphela. Kumele sivote li-PLF ngoba yona ngabasaba amhlophe. Kodwa kumele siyilungisele impi ezayo yokuvikela izwe lakithi, sivikele nayo futhi amakhosi wethu. Now, that is AfriForum. I'm coming now to the big day, which is the 8th of June. Next week, Friday, Siyabuyela Enkandolo, going back to Durban. President Zuma is appearing again on these bogus charges. Siyazi ukuthi abamhlophe bafuna ukuvalela upresident wethu umongameli uJacob Zuma. Ngomhla ka-8 ngolwesihlanu lozayo sabe seThekwini enkantolo. Siyanicela nonke nivele nibe khona nizoxhasa upresident. These charges, remember, the charges were dropped already in the year 2009, before President Zuma was even president. At a time, Vavi, the leader of the workers, Nzimana, the leader of the Communist Party, and this Julius Malema was the leader of the youth, said at the time those charges were political attack on President Zuma. Those charges must be withdrawn. We knew that a judge agreed with that proposition, and those charges were withdrawn. Now they've gone to pick them up again because just like what's happening everywhere in Latin America, President Zuma is seen as a threat even when he's not president. So they must make sure that they put him to jail, they silence him completely. Otherwise, we get inspiration from him, we get organized on the basis of his message, and we remain a threat to white monopoly capital. Don't get confused. These charges are political charges to intimidate me and you and to make sure that President Zuma's voice is silenced. We must not allow it. These are bogus charges. What we are saying is, hands off President Zuma, arrest FW de Klerk. FW de Klerk, we must repeat this. The last president of apartheid is the mass murderer who has been allowed to get away with killing our people. Just in the last 3 years of apartheid, FW de Klerk instigated the murder of more than 5,000 black people. And what does he get? He gets a Nobel Peace Prize for it, instead of going to jail. EPLF is very clear. Hands off Zuma, arrest de Klerk. That is the message. Hands off Zuma, arrest de Klerk. That's what we call for. That's what the message you must say. And also help our people to understand. These charges of Zuma has got nothing to do with his time as president. Has got nothing to do with the Guptas. These are the charges of long before he was president. And these charges, again we must repeat, were dropped because it was shown they were politically motivated. Now we ask this question to Julius Malema, to Zwelin Zimavavi, to Bladin Zimande. If these very same charges were politically motivated at that time, what changes? What has happened? What has changed about them? Why now, all of a sudden, you say these charges, President Zuma must go to jail for them, when at the time they were seen and they said correctly that they are political motivated charges? Something very interesting about this, Cyril Ramaphosa has made sure that the court case on the 8th happens at the same time. In other words, rather, the provincial elective conference of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, he put it at the same date as the court date. Why? Because you see, last time they tried to intimidate our people not to go and support President Zuma. Abantu baya ngomningi babo. Manje bathi manje inkonfa ye-ANC yokukhetha abaholi base KwaZulu-Natal izoyenzeka ngesikhathi esisodwa na umongameli ayovela enkantolo. Lokho bakuyenza ngoba bafuna ukuthi singabi khona ngoba abaningi abaholi bazobe behambile baye enkunkonfa. Sicela abantu bakwaZulu-Natal ngakumbi abantu abaseThekwini, sicela ama-student, sicela abasebenzi, sicela nabasemakhaya ukuthi ngobuningi bethu asiphumeni asiyeni enkantolo ngolosihlanu sibonise ukuthi simanaye upresident wethu upresident uJacob Zuma. We are saying, please beware what they are doing. They have organized an elective conference at the same time as the court so that they make sure that there's no organization of people going to court so that they can say President Zuma has no support. We need your support. We need you to be out of court on the 8th. We will be there ourselves. We'll be traveling from all parts of the country. You must be there yourself to stand with President Zuma. Let us defend the revolution. Let us defend President Zuma. Let us defend radical economic transformation. Let us call out very loudly, hands off Zuma, arrest de Klerk. That is the message that we need to go out there and make. Now, I want us to quickly go to Latin America. We will always go to Latin America in this program. Of course, we'll do what's happening here. We'll look at 1 or 2 countries in the African continent. Europe is largely irrelevant to us. Largely irrelevant to us. I mean, I can see now the Italians are doing a proto-fascist state there. But it's their problem. I mean, including Spain has got a new government. They have deposed the old guys. They say there's some socialists in Spain. No, there are no white socialists. We know in Greece they did the same thing. Quickly they fold and they follow their European masters. So that Europe is generally irrelevant, except is relevant to the extent that it comes to Africa to continue the wars and to continue to steal from us. To that extent, we will intervene in Europe. But generally, Europe is not our interest. Of course, Russia, China, India is our big interest. So we'll also talk about those. But let's go to Latin America. Let us start by congratulating Comrade Maduro for the beautiful victory against Donald Trump in the Venezuelan elections. President Maduro has emerged as the popular president of the people. The people have spoken. We can't help the problems of Donald Trump's small hands and unruly hair. But we can ask him to stay away from Latin America, to stay away from Venezuela. I'm sure he has enough problems with white people shooting black people randomly there in America, in the US. Leave Venezuela alone. The Venezuelan people have chosen their president and they have chosen a government. And on our part, as Black First, Land First, and South Africans and African people who want real revolution, who want change, we are with Comrade Maduro. We say Pambili, Maduro Pambili, and save the people, defend the revolution, remember Hugo Chavez. We're very happy, we're excited about the outcomes of these elections in Venezuela. Now, then there is an interesting development in Chile. Young people in Chile are standing up. We must really study that revolution or that moment, and we hope this is a progressive, not CIA-led process. Next week we'll tell you more about what's happening in Chile. But I want us to look at Nicaragua. Now, Nicaragua is a small country, very close to America. Nicaragua, basically, in the late 70s, up to the 80s, they had a revolutionary program to construct a socialist state in Nicaragua. You know what happened? Ronald Reagan bombed Nicaragua into submission. Comrade Daniel Ortega, who led the revolution at the time for a socialist transformation of Nicaragua, had to leave government as a result of the destruction of their country. In fact, the election that happened after this bombing of Nicaragua, the revolutionaries were literally saying, give back power to these reactionaries for peace. It was a peace without justice. It was a peace just so that they can breathe. It was America doing that to a small nation that had chosen a different path. What happened is in the year 2007, Comrade Daniel Ortega again participated in the political process, was democratically elected. Since then, he has been twice again democratically elected by the people of Nicaragua. They're trying to do things, they're trying to make some changes. But right now, Donald Trump and the CIA are in Nicaragua using the students to topple the government of Comrade Ortega. Comrades, and those who are watching, and those who want revolution, you must study what is happening in Latin America. Because even us, when we take power as black radical socialists, they will organize a counter-revolution. They have already done so with President Zuma. So we have to see what America does. We have to see what imperialism does. Because this is exactly what they're going to do to us. We stand with the revolutionary people of Nicaragua. But there are lessons I want to quickly say with regard to what's happening in Nicaragua. But bagithi akumelanga sibheke nje la ekhaya ngoba izitha zethu zilizwe lonke. Okwenzeka eLatin America emazweni njengabo Venezuela, njengase Nicaragua, njengase Brazil. EBrazil inkokheli yabo yaseqala eqala ulula bayifaka ejele already. Ekubeni basusa omunye wabo njengelendlela basusa uPresident Zuma. Into ezenzekala kulo mazwe lawo ziyasifundisa ukuthi ongqwankulu basebenza kanjani ukuze bakhiphe ohulumeni abamena abantu, ohulumeni abanjengaka President Zuma. Akumelanga sithi asifuni wathi kwenzekani ezweni. Mele sazi ngoba ngalondlela sizosifundisa kangcono ukuze sikwazi ukuvikela nathi inkululeko yethu. Bahayithu khanya ko Brazil, khanya ko Venezuela, khanya ko ya Nicaragua di botlhokwa thata. Tshantse re itse gore go diragalang ko ka ntla gore se se diragalang ko Nicaragua se tlile go diragala lefa. Tshantse re ithute gore jaanong tshantse re bereke yang ka kgang ya go lwela tikologo. Now, in conclusion, there is a thing I want to talk about Steve Biko. I think there's a thing that I want to talk about Steve Biko, which okay, let's do this. It's a quotation of Steve Biko. I think it's a good lesson. As we think about June the 8th, which is Friday, June the 7th is Thursday evening. There's going to be a night vigil in Durban. In that night vigil, I've asked that I speak at length about these charges against President Zuma and also speak about radical economic transformation. Because right now, we have been captured. The majority of our people's thinking on state capture, on corruption, is the discourse of white people. You know, BLF says, when white people took the land, they also took our minds, and they put in a little white man inside our brains. And that little white man is the one who's determining how we think. So our first job is to kill the little white man inside our brains, inside our heads. Part of killing that is to remember what Steve Biko said. Steve Biko says, the most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. The most potent, the most important, the most dangerous weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the minds of the oppressed. In other words, once our minds are in the hands of the oppressor, there's nothing we can do to liberate ourselves. Steve Biko teaches us that we have to free the mind to free the land. You see, if your mind is not liberated, there's nothing you can do. It is just like, a horse or a donkey. If you train it to put a little leash and you put it there, it will never move. Even if it's a little chair, even if there's nothing, it sees the leash, the chain, it stands. You police yourself. When you want to think about liberation, immediately you think that no, white people's interest must be protected. So Steve Biko's teaching here, which I want us to remember as we move on, is the most important weapon in the hands of the oppressor is not even the gun, it's the mind of the oppressed. Once we liberate our minds, then we can liberate the country. In this country, the reason why we managed to give oppressors political power in the metros is because we're mentally not liberated. It's because we don't know who the enemy is. Because every time we try to think who the enemy is, yes. So also we know that Brother Peter Tosh also said the same about our minds, right? And in future, we will try very hard to actually try to get some of his music. The Facebook people and others, as soon as we play some of the music from our icons like that, they shut down our program. So, but Peter Tosh also said the same thing. The mind is important. If your mind is not liberated, there's nothing you can do. That is why our people are not shocked, for instance, that it is okay to take black people's votes and give them to those who stole our land. To give votes to Helen Zille, the one who says colonialism is not a bad program. The same Helen Zille who's making sure that our people are being evicted. The same Helen Zille who says this land does not belong to us. So once you liberate your mind, you will love yourself, love black people, defend black people, and you will be absolutely angry at the enemy. Alomagama lawo ngithi asihlanganeni ngomhla ka-8 eThekwini sovikela umongameli wethu President Zuma. That is the end of the program. We'll see you there in Durban. Siyabonga. Sabier. Thank you. Bueno, masaya nongong.
Yeah.
Abantu bazoyivala nje lento.
Sometimes, but we'll see.
Don't say we'll see bazoyivala Joe. Chief.
Actually, let me check. Sorry.